So today I've come out for some specific photography, and in particular I want to make sure that I go back with the correct exposure, a really nice negative that I can take in a darkroom and make a print of. I'm going to be shooting medium format 6x6, a SFLaB 501C, and inside this camera I've got a roll of Ilford HP5, a film that I don't often shoot. And I've also brought out with me a Voigtlander Besser L camera with a 12mm lens, and in this camera I've got a roll of FP4, and this will be nice for some really wide shots, but I don't want to shoot the whole roll. I don't need to shoot the whole roll because I've only come down to get a few photographs of this scene. If I was shooting large format, that'd be great. 4 sheets, done. And this is the scene behind me. This is Yarmouth Pier. The sun is over there, you can see it shining on my face, and it's perfect for what I want to do today. The tide is in, which I already looked at. I thought, great, the tide's in, let's get down to Yarmouth. There's the pier, the sun's shining on it. It's just a lovely day. So this is what I've come down to get photographs of. Now with that SFLaB, I'm going to have 12 photographs inside. I don't really want to run around here getting compositions of different things. This is what I've come for. So in order to get the correct exposure, I'm going to bracket my shots, and this comes from a guy called Marcus. I've been teaching film photography locally lately, and these guys are very new into photography, so I was explaining exposures and apertures and shutter speeds, etc, etc, and after a couple of lessons Marcus came out with a brilliant question. He said, well, when I go out and shoot, surely then just to get the correct exposure I could just shoot a few of the same scenes at different apertures or different shutter speeds. And I went, that's a fantastic question. Yeah, it's called bracketing. And bracketing is something that I've done quite a lot over the past with digital, especially for like sunset scenes or seascapes at sunset when I've gone out and I've taken 3 shots, one for the sky, one for the sea and one for the land at different exposures, got back and blended them together in Photoshop. But so it's something that you can do on digital, but with film, if you only want to take a few photographs of a particular scene, you can bracket your shots and you're guaranteed to get a good exposure, at least for me anyway. So I'm just going to do simple metering, not pointed directly towards the sun, just up in the sky. At f16 it's given me 1/500th of a second. So that's my first exposure, f16 at 500th of a second. Shot number 1 fired. I'm going to do the same thing again. Now this time at 2/50th of a second, which is ISO 200. And one more at 1/25th of a second, which is ISO 100. And that's it, simple as that. I've bracketed my shots. So that's 3 shots I've taken already. So I've got another 9 shots. I need to find another composition, do another 3 shots, another composition, do another 3 shots, put the lens cap on. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, this time on 35mm, and it's a little bit more tricky on 35mm. When I get back, after shooting my photographs, I'll have to cut the film out of the camera and go, and I have to do that in the darkroom and develop what I've exposed. So let's do the same thing with 35mm. My metering isn't changing, so f16, except I've got a 125 film inside the camera. So we're going to start off at 1/25th of a second, and I'm going to shoot 1/60th and 1/30th as the overexposures. But let's try it with the 35mm FP4. So 1/25th of a second, pointed that way. Done. Now we go to 1/60th of a second. Done. Now we'll go to 1/30th of a second. Done. I have done this before on the channel, and I think I've got in the comment once someone saying it's cheating. Nothing's cheating. If you want to get a good photograph and you want to go back and make sure that you've got a good negative to make a print of, there's no cheating about it. The rest of the negatives get folded away, that photograph gets printed, and that's the one that goes on forever, maybe for sale, maybe inside your home, maybe to give to your friends or whatever, but that's the photograph that you've got, and you've always got that good, well-exposed negative in your folder if you need to print again. And another benefit to this is I don't shoot this HP5 very much, but I am playing at the moment with a new developer which I featured in my last video. And then when I get back and develop in the times, I can then look at the negatives, and if the best exposure is, say for example 100, then I know I can shoot HP5 comfortably at 100 speed and develop in those times. The other option is I can increase the time of the development and change things around from there. So it's got 2 benefits. One, I'll get a really good exposure on this scene today, and the other is I'll be able to see what this development is doing with these times. So there's one thing I didn't tell you guys at the start, which was I was shooting expired film. I was shooting HP5 and FP4 from 2010 that had been in a fridge all that time. And I wanted to see, A, if it works, and B, how do I develop this HP5 and FP4? So that was one of the best ways that I know that I could do it. I could have done it one way, I could have done it indoors and just shot something that I didn't want, but I thought, you know what, let's go out and shoot a scene that is worthy of a print, hopefully, and bracket my shots. And that's what I did. So I'm going to try this composition here. There's another jetty just there, and we've got this wooden slipway for boats to launch themselves off. So I'm going to kind of get the slipway in as well as the jetty in the background. So we've got this little bit of sea in the background, a bit of stones, and the jetty. So I'm going to do 3 exposures with the SFLaB on there. And now I'm going to do exactly the same thing with this super wide 12mm lens with the FP4. And it's definitely well worth it as well if you're shooting expired film and you're not quite sure how to shoot it. If you want to shoot the whole expired roll, go ahead, shoot the whole lot on different compositions. But if you want to, like I did, choose a particular scene and you've got expired film, it's definitely well worth bracketing, because you never know with expired film what you're going to get. I was lucky with this stuff, it's come out all right. But some people, like I said, say, you know, bracketing is a waste of time, you should get it right first time and all that stuff. It ain't no competition. If you've got a roll of film and you've got one particular scene, maybe you can't get back there again, it's well worth taking a few different exposures just to, so you know that when you get back into the darkroom or when you develop your film and scan, you know you've got a really good negative of that scene. Even if you take 4 shots of it, you know, you might never get back there again. So it's just a safeguard if you've got the film. Just walked over here. This is my next scene. This little harbour here. So I can kind of make a black and white postcard of these lovely boats in this harbour. Jesus Christ, look at the size of some of these. So we've got some nice reflections and stuff going on. The light hasn't changed. I'm going to be shooting exactly the same, f16, 1.500, and then overexposing, and I'll do the same with the Besser as well. One shot, that's 500, 250th coming up. And the last one, 125th. And we'll do the same again, this time with the Voigtlander, 125th, 160th, 130th, and there's one more scene that I need to go to now, another walk. But I guess the question is, do I do this all the time? Well, no, I don't. I very rarely bracket, but I guess sometimes on particular scenes when I go out and just to photograph one scene, I've got 12 or 15, maybe 36 shots inside the camera. I don't want to go around shooting everything. I just want to come back with that scene. So if I've got 12 shots in the camera, it makes sense to bracket, use 3 exposures on the same composition, change composition a couple of times, 3 times, whatever, and come back at least with a negative that's good exposure that I can use in the darkroom and make prints. To me, that makes sense. But it's not a practice that I do all of the time because I end up doing lots of different compositions. I've now come down to this little jetty, and there's this nice little boat on this jetty that I'm going to take a picture of. So I should get nice woodwork in, little boat at the end. The man might be in it, I'm not sure. But yeah, see how this one works out. A little boat going past, that might be nice for the first shot. Gotcha. Next one at 250th. We'll try and get that boat in again. And the next shot at 125th. Done. So that's the SFLaB shot. We'll now shoot the 35mm, and that'll be the last scene. This one will be super wide. We've got that little tiny boat coming in again. I'm going to come down not to get the sun in. 1, 2, last shot 130th, 3, we're done. I'm done, thank you very much, cheers. So I just took 6 more photographs on the 35mm, one of a little tiny boat over there and one behind me just looking through some what I think look like canoes or kayaks or whatever. And that's it. I have got another roll of HP5, but I've got what I've come here to get, so I don't need to shoot that. I'm not going to stay around and shoot a roll of film. I've got lots of these photographs in the past, so I don't need to shoot that other roll of film. And the whole point of this exercise is I've only come here really just for that one photograph of the pier with high tide in the nice sunlight with those clouds. I was hoping the clouds would be a bit more dramatic, but they weren't. A little bit like last week's video. But that's all I've come for. So it's nice. It'll be nice to go back and see what exposures I've got, and also when I develop, see if my metered exposure matches the development times that I'm using at the moment with this particular developer, and that will be interesting as well. So it's all test, it's all trial and error, and see what happens. But at least I know with 3 photographs on each scene, 1 metered, 1 overstop, 2 overstop, I'll get a decent negative to go in a darkroom and make a print. So in my case, from bracketing the film, I got decent results, and I got to know exactly how to develop it and how to shoot those 2 rolls of particular film going forward. If I was shooting digital, if you've got a digital camera and you select bracketing, it will give you 1 underexposure, 1 metered and 1 overexposure. But there's no point in doing that with film. Why do I want to underexpose? I want to get as much shadow detail out as I can. And if I underexpose by 1 stop down at the beach or at a harbour, all my shadows would have just been, it would have been pointless. So that's why I chose the meter shot, and then 1 stop over, 2 stops over, develop negs and see how they came out. And there's the contact sheet there. So looking at the contact sheet, I can tell that shooting that film at 200 in that development is definitely the best time going forward. So I had to do a contact sheet to see how they look. This was on a 2.5 grade filter, and the other contact sheet, which I did of the FP4, like I said, that was coming out great on the very first exposure at box speed. So the contact sheet told me everything I need to know, and then making a couple of prints. So thanks for watching, all you guys that did watch till the end, probably about 4 of you left. And thanks a lot to all the guys that support the channel. I really do appreciate the support, so I can continue making videos for you guys, getting materials to make more videos. It really does help. Thanks very much. I'll catch you next time.